The pain hits like a tidal wave, crashing over you when you least expect it. One moment you're scrolling through your phone, the next you're drowning in memories that feel like shards of glass in your chest. This isn't just a breakup, it's an annihilation of the world you built together. The inside jokes that now echo hollowly, the songs that stab instead of soothe, the places you can't go without seeing her ghost in every corner. Your body rebels against the truth. Your hands still. Reach for her in sleep, your fingers itch to text her good morning. But she's gone. And with her, she took the future you meticulously planned, the lazy Sundays, the shared dreams, the quiet certainty that someone had your back. What cuts deepest isn't the loss itself, but the brutal rewriting of history. Every memory now gets filtered through the harsh lens of her departure. Were those "I love yous" ever real? Did she already know she'd leave when she kissed you that last time? Your mind becomes a torture chamber of second-guessing, replaying every argument, every moment you could have been better. But here's the cruel twist. No amount of analysis changes the outcome. The woman you loved or thought you loved has vanished, replaced by a stranger who could walk away without looking back. This is the stage where even breathing feels like work. Food tastes like ash, music sounds like noise, and the world moves. And while you're trapped in this suspended animation of grief, let it hurt. This pain is the price of having loved deeply, and though it feels endless, it's the necessary fire that burns away who you were to make space for who you'll become. Your mind becomes a traitor, replaying the highlight reel of your relationship on an endless loop. It's the cruelest trick of grief how nostalgia sandpapers away the rough edges, leaving only the soft glow of what you've lost. You catch yourself remembering the way she laughed at your stupid jokes, the warmth of her hand in yours, the quiet intimacy of shared silences. But these memories are landmines, detonating without warning and leaving you gutted all over again. The brain is wired to seek comfort in the familiar, even when that familiarity is the very thing destroying you. Late at night, when the world is quiet and your defenses are down, the bargaining begins. Asterisk, maybe if I'd been more attentive. Maybe if I'd said this instead of that. Maybe if I just reach out one more time. These thoughts are poison disguised as hope. You're not mourning her, you're addicted to the version of yourself that existed when she loved you. That man felt seen, wanted, whole. Now, without her reflection, you're staring into a void, wondering if you'll ever recognize yourself again. The truth is, you won't, and that's the point. This pain isn't a detour. It's the path. Every time you resist the urge to text her, every time you delete that half-written message, every time you choose reality over fantasy, you're rebuilding yourself from the ground up. The withdrawal will pass. The cravings will fade. And one day, you'll wake up and realize you've stopped counting the days since you last spoke. The anger arrives like a thunderstorm after weeks of suffocating humidity, sudden, violent, and cleansing. At first, you try to suppress it, telling yourself you shouldn't feel this way, that love shouldn't curdle into rage, but the fury isn't about her anymore. It's about the person you became in that relationship. The way you twisted yourself into knots to keep her happy, how you ignored red flags because hope was louder than instinct. That's what really burns, not that she left, but that you stayed so long when your gut knew better. You start seeing everything with brutal clarity. The times she dismissed your feelings, the half-hearted apologies, the way she always made you the villain in her story. The memories replay like a different film now, the romantic filter stripped away. How could you have been so blind? The anger isn't just hot, it's sharp, cutting through the bullshit and forcing you to face uncomfortable truths. You weren't perfect, but you showed up. You fought for her when she was already walking away in her mind. This phase isn't pretty, but it's necessary. Anger is the bridge between heartbreak and healing, the fire that burns away victimhood. Channel it into workouts that leave you trembling, into work that demands your focus, into art that bleeds truth. Let it remind you of your worth. Because beneath the rage is something far more powerful. The refusal to ever lose yourself like that again. The silence between you becomes its own kind of torture. You lie awake at 3 a.m. drafting speeches in your head, arguments so airtight. Confessions so raw, they'd surely make her understand the devastation she left behind. You imagine chance encounters at coffee shops where you're stoic and impressive, or emotional reunions where she finally sees what she threw away. These fantasies are just another form of self-harm. Closure isn't something she can give you, because real closure doesn't come from the person who broke you. It comes from the moment you stop waiting for them to pick up the pieces they never cared about in the first place. You scroll through old photos like a detective searching for clues, analyzing captions and dates for proof that any of it was real. But here's the brutal truth you're avoiding. Her absence is the answer. Every unreturned call, every indifferent glance in those final months, that was her speaking louder than any heartfelt goodbye ever could. Women don't leave the way. Men do, with dramatic fights and slamming doors. They leave in increments, their hearts checking out long before their bodies follow. The day you stop begging the past for explanations is the day you reclaim your future. No grand confrontation will give you what you need, only time, distance, and the quiet realization that some questions are better left unanswered. The closure you crave won't come from her lips, but from your own hands as you build something new from the wreckage. You start seeing her everywhere. In the coffee shop where the barista wears the same perfume, in the echo of a stranger's laugh, in the golden hour light that used to catch her hair just right. But these aren't signs from the universe. They're withdrawal symptoms. Your brain, desperate for its fix, is hallucinating her presence in mundane moments. The hardest truth to swallow isn't that she's gone, it's that the person you're missing never really existed. You didn't lose the woman who left. You lost the idealized version you created in your mind, the one who loved you the way you needed to be loved. Slowly, the fog begins to lift. You catch yourself going hours without thinking about her, then whole days. The songs that used to eviscerate you now just sound like songs. You stop checking her social media, not out of discipline, but genuine disinterest. The phantom limb pain fades. What remains isn't bitterness, but a quiet reverence for the person you've become in her absence, and one wiser, more discerning, less willing to mistake potential for reality. This is the secret no one tells you about heartbreak. The moment you stop wanting her back isn't triumphant. It's quiet, almost melancholy, like realizing you've been holding your breath for months and finally deciding to exhale. You don't get over her, you outgrow her. And when you finally turn the page, you'll find the next chapter was worth the wreckage it took to get there. The transformation happens so gradually. You almost miss it until one morning you wake up and realize the weight in your chest has lifted. You don't mark the date in your calendar. There's no epiphany, no cinematic moment of release. Healing doesn't come in a straight line, but in quiet victories. The first time you laugh so hard you forget to feel guilty about it. The first morning you don't reach for your phone to check if she texted. The first date where you realize someone new actually intrigues you. You start rebuilding not for revenge or to prove anything to her, but because you've rediscovered the simple joy of creating for creation's sake. The gym sessions become about strength rather than punishment. The late nights about passion projects rather than pity parties. You catch your reflection unexpectedly and notice something unfamiliar: pride. Not the performative kind you post on social media, but the deep, quiet satisfaction of a man who's faced his darkest nights and emerged intact. The irony isn't lost on you. The love that nearly destroyed you ended up delivering you to yourself. You don't hate her anymore. You don't even need to forgive her. She's become what she always was, a chapter, not the whole story. And when you finally meet the woman who's meant to walk beside this version of you, you'll realize every tear was necessary. Not because it led you to her, but because it led you back to yourself.